Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Welcome to All Eyes on Ashley, the podcast where faith meets real life and where educators, families, and communities come together for solutions that actually work. I'm Tuesday, and today we are starting with a conversation that is personal. It's bigger than any one classroom. Because here's the truth. Educators are doing more now than ever before. And too often, we're supposed to, for lack of a better term, we're expected to do it with less support, less time, and understanding. But from the start, let me make one thing clear. This is not a tear down the school system episode. This is how do we build together. So if you're a teacher, a parent, student, school leader, or a community leader, this conversation is for you. But first, let us pray. God, we thank you. We thank you for this space. We thank you for every viewer joining today. We thank you for educators and leaders who carry heavy responsibilities with grace. Grant us wisdom as we speak, courage as we advocate, and clarify as we lead. Help us challenge systems with integrity and serve with humility. Renew our strength and align our purpose for your will. Let this conversation be guided by you today. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, let's get into this courageous conversation today. Episode 1. I'm so excited. I am excited. I'm nervous. I'm all of the things that you could think of. But this is episode 1 of All Eyes on Ashley. And today we want to talk about why educators deserve more. Faith, advocacy, and the future of education. Whew. So quick disclaimer. Before we continue, this podcast is for encouragement, education, and empowerment. I'm not speaking today on behalf of any school district, school system, particular school, organization. I'm simply speaking from lived experience, things that I've done or I've had happen to me. Nobody else, just Tuesday. Okay? So, I want to make sure, and I have the faith and the desire for us to have a healthier educational system for everybody. When I say educators deserve more, I don't just mean money. Although we are going to get into that conversation too. I mean simply, we deserve more. We deserve more support. We deserve more respect. We deserve more partnership, safety, and mental wellness. Real tools for educators. We need real tools for educators that can help us help students thrive in the classroom and doing any kind of extracurricular activity, anything like that. So when I say educators deserve more, it is across the board. It's so many things. So let's start here. Educators are not asking to be put on a pedestal. We're not. And again, this is from my lived experience. Colleagues that I've talked to, things like that. We are not looking to be put on a pedestal, but what we are is we're asking to be treated as a professional. Now, with me saying that, let me talk to my educators. Come on in a little closer. Hey, if we want to be treated like professionals, we've got to act accordingly. Everything that we do in our life is attached to how we present ourselves, through the way we dress, through the way we speak, and how we handle our classrooms, how we show up for work. Do you come to work looking like you just rolled out of your bed? I, for one, and I can't tell anybody what to do. I, for one, I really, I don't do leggings. And that is, and hey, listen, I am not here to judge anybody. You do what you do. You do what you do, and I'm going to do what I do. And I like to get dressed. I like to put on my makeup. I like to have my heels when I can wear them. But those are my entrance and exit shoes. I enter with them on. I change into something flat. And then I can exit with my heels on. Because you never know who you're going to run into. You may run into a parent as you stop at the store on your way home. You don't know. You're right. And so we want to be treated as a professional. But we have to act accordingly. Again, this is coming from a lived experience. One thing I want to say, or a couple of things. Educators, we deserve time to teach without being pulled in 10 different directions. We deserve support for behavior and mental health that does not fall only on the teacher. Listen, teachers, educators, because I'm not a teacher, I'm an educator. There's a difference, and we'll talk about that in another episode. When a child has behavior issues in your classroom, and you've just about had enough, and you send them off with an administrator, students are not going to get the consequence that you feel is appropriate. Let me say it again. The student is not going to get the consequence that you feel is deemed worthy. It's not. That's not how our school districts are set up. And I have been guilty, for one, of doing that. Being upset because, they should have been sent home. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we need to kind of look at the different policies that our district has, because it's not the child, it's the behavior. Point blank, period. All right. So we deserve resources that match expectations. What I mean by that is, why do I have to go into my pocket to have certain things from my classroom? I get it. It's my classroom. If I want it to look a certain way, I should provide certain things. But when I have to go in my pocket, and I'm always buying pens, pencils, paper, notebooks, folders, because students aren't coming to school with the supplies needed to be successful in my classroom. I think, personally, it is wrong for schools to put out a supply list. You don't know what's going on in my classroom. I teach different kids that process things differently. So how do you speak for me? Y'all can read between the lines on that if you want to. But that's one of the things that I have an issue with, is I don't want school systems to put out supply lists for teachers. You don't have any idea of what that teacher needs for her class, his or her classroom. Like, I require a 3-subject spiral notebook for my classroom because I require my students to make a textbook of their own. Okay? But when a school system sends out a supply list, 3-ring binder, 1.5 inches, but I'm sorry, I never sent that information out. Never sent it out. So how do you put out a supply list for me? I'm sorry if my video or my mic went out. Touch my microphone. Let me just keep my hands away. But back to the topic at hand. Educators, we deserve training that's useful, not just another checkbox. If I am proficient in technology, why am I going to a PD for technology? Because it's another checkbox? No. That should not be the case. We need training because I have an issue with a lot of technology. Like, I want to be one. I'm so jealous of some of my colleagues. They are so good with putting together PowerPoints and documents, and they look absolutely amazing. Then I have to go and say, hey, can you help me? Help me. Because I'm not proficient in it. And I would need to have efficient and sufficient professional training. Professional development, as we call it. Another thing, as educators, we deserve partnership with families and community. We don't need blaming and finger pointing. Too often, I've seen parents blame teachers for what their student lacks. When students come home from my class for the day and tell their parents they don't have homework, that's not true. And then when parents get upset when students are not being successful in the class, well, I'm doing all of the things. Like, they should be studying the vocabulary. They should be studying what we went over for the day. There should never be a student to ever come home and say, I don't have any homework. You do. You need to go over the work for the day. I'm telling you, if students would spend 30 minutes per content, if you're in middle school like I currently am, and they have connections, 30 minutes per class. 2 hours. Just 2 hours. Because the reading will help with comprehension, because let's be clear, reading is not reading words. It is comprehending. How do I comprehend the content and the context in which things are being presented to me? 2 hours will make a difference. But we get home, students get home, and too often they are shoving their book bags in a corner and they don't do anything else. But they can get on that phone. They can get on that game. My little guy has basketball practice, AAU, baseball, football. My daughter has competition cheerleading. No. We have to educate. Education has to be our priority. Now, we'll talk about in a later episode about the difference between going to a 4-year college or university and educating yourself, because there's a difference. Everybody is not built to go to a 4-year college or university, but we should educate ourselves. Okay? Educators, we deserve leadership that listens and communicates clearly, not only with teachers, but amongst the leadership team, in a little bubble, if you will. Oftentimes, I've seen it. I've been in education for 14 years, and I've seen it more times than I can count, that the administrative team is not on the same page. They're not on one accord. And then different administrators are delivering different messages, and we're confused. We're confused. Like, there have been times where I'm like, you see this look on my face? It's confusion. It's confusion. Because there's different things being said at different times. And then you have a frustrated educator, and then when that educator is not doing what is needed to be done, then there's a frustrated administrator. And then here we go. Here we go. So what do we do? What do we do? And finally, educators deserve more pay. Yes, we deserve more pay for the skilled, the emotional, and the mentally demanding work that we do on a daily basis. Picture this. Picture being in a classroom with 35 to 38 children, because I've worked in a system where my largest class was 42 in a science classroom. Like, we were like packed sardines on top of one another, along with students who had IEPs, 504s, individualized, education plans, 504s, dealing with oppositional defiant disorder, dealing with ADHD, and each individual child. And we're expected to differentiate, we're expected to scaffold, we're expected to manage all of these behaviors, different ones. Because you got your quiet ones, you got your ones that want to just sit in the classroom and just read a book. And I think that's great. Reading is fundamental. It really is. But when it's time to get down to business and take care of a lesson and learn the standard, we have to put things away and be focused. And when we have that, because everything is rush, gotta go. How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? There's like no time, because it's quick, right? Sometimes you test, you give an assessment, a summative assessment, and then you've got to retest the next day. Where's the remediation time? And then don't even get me started on retesting. And we're not retesting the whole test. We're giving them the test questions that they missed. How do you know for sure that they mastered the information? They could have just guessed. But we don't want to talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation, courageous conversation. And you can bet your life we're going to get into that conversation, right? So when I say more pay, picture working outside of your contractual hours. Again, everything that I'm talking about is lived experience. Picture working outside of your contractual hours and not getting paid. I don't know anybody that is going to work and they're not going to get their pay. But imagine working outside of your contractual hours. Welcome to the world of education. And I'm not just talking about teachers either, because we have principals that have to be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. They have to have their phone attached to their hip to be able to respond to anything that may happen. As a coach, I had to deal with one year, one of my basketball players having a crisis at 2 o'clock in the morning. And because I was the coach, I had to call my principal. I had to call my assistant coach. And we had to get this child some help. It doesn't stop. We didn't get paid for that. But we have a livelihood too that we have to take care of. And what I want states and governments to understand, because the higher order of things, federal comes down to the state sends it down to the districts pushes it down to the schools, and the school pushes it down to the teachers. No matter what the decision is, even when we're not allowed to have a voice in that, right? So we have to work at home, because most of the time there's not enough time during the day, because during your planning you're being pulled to a meeting, whether it's an IP, 504, RTI, MTSS, and I'm throwing around all these acronyms. Like, those of us that have been in education, we know. Even if you are new and you are a new teacher, you will find out there are so many acronyms. And if we are going to be honest, right? I often listen to Pastor Michael Todd out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And listen, before anybody jumps into my comments talking about whatever, save it. I will block you. That is not what this is for, right? But I listen to Michael Todd and his sermons from Transformation Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he says that they're a hot church. Humble, open, and transparent. Honest, open, transparent. And I want to be hot right now. I really want to be hot. When I have to work at home, because there's not enough time in the day to do the things that I need to do, or my colleagues need to do, to be an effective educator, why aren't we getting paid for that? So if you break down, I've heard people be like, oh, teachers they make money and they make a good living. Y'all get paid during the summertime and don't work. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? First of all, teachers are not 12-month employees. We are 10-month employees. Our paychecks are stretched out, so we don't receive as much money during the year. They're stretched out so that we can get paid for June, July. Because most of the time we're going back to work in July. Later on in my podcasts and episodes, we're going to get to talking about planning. And again, my lived experience and what I would like to see. But sometimes if we don't put it out there, then we can't ever discuss it. And that's what it is. This is courageous, grown conversation without name calling, finger pointing, and all of those things, right? But if you take our pay and you divide it up over the number of hours that we spend at home, because I don't know about you, but my summertime is spent trying to get ready for the next year, and it's still not enough. And then you know, my family is upset, and they're like, "You're always doing something at work. You're always doing something at school." It's hard to keep up sometimes. It's hard to keep up sometimes. So I know I have to spend my own money to obtain things that I want for my lessons, to have my lessons engaged. I want kids to be excited about, man, I can't wait to get to school. I want to know what Miss Ashley's going to do with us next. That's the kind of enthusiasm I'm trying to create in my classroom. So when I think about that, when I think about my lessons, and I think about what we're going to do for the day, and sometimes I have to go into my own pocket and get that. Did anybody ask me to? No. But what you did ask me was to make sure that my students are engaged, because when you come in and give me an evaluation, you want to see that the kids are engaged. And kids don't all learn the same. So you have to do different things. And sometimes, yes, it costs money. All right? So often I'm replacing pens, paper, pencils. Students don't come to class with it, but they got a $1,200 phone. They got $200 shoes on their feet. And listen, parents, please don't be offended. I'm just trying to help us find some solutions, because we have to put the health of our children, we have to put their futures first. And I'm sorry, if a child is failing, they don't have no business with a phone at all, let alone it costs $1,200. You can't do what you need to do in class, but you sitting up on a $1,200 phone and a paid for plan. And so when I have to go into my pocket and provide things to make sure that, you know, kids understand and they're able to grasp the information that they need to master the standards, sometimes it requires the money. And so if I'm spending money and taking from my family and my family's way of living, then, you know, how do I get that back? And if I'm lucky, my state will provide a little stipend. But by the time Uncle Sam hit it, I don't get to see all of it. But that's a whole nother show. So when educators are supported, not only do students win, but families win, the school wins, and communities win. I have faith in that. I have faith in that. Speaking of faith, why faith matters in this conversation. Let's get into it. Y'all like my Tiana cup? Isn't she cute? That was a little birthday gift from one of my colleagues. She's so cute. And my theme this year was Princess and the Frog. Yeah, trying to think about what I want to do for next year. We'll see. But why faith matters in this conversation. So let's talk about faith. I know everybody does not come from the same belief background that I come from. And that's your business. As Tabitha Brown would say, that's your business. And that's quite all right. But for me, faith isn't about being perfect. It's about being anchored in who I know that created me. Now, let's talk about it. I'm not up in age, but I'm in the 50 club. Okay? So I've lived life. I've had experiences, and I know it's taken me to get to this point to really know who I belong to. My faith in God reminds me that, one, my work has a purpose, even on the hard days. My faith in God reminds me, and I might get in trouble with this with some of my colleagues, but oh well. But my faith in God reminds me that children are not problems. They are a part of the totality of issues in a broken system. They are a part. So how do we fix that? And when I say broken system, I mean that we are not in alignment in education. We are not on one accord in education. We spend a lot of time backbiting each other, talking about each other, lying on each other. Listen, I don't want to see anybody in education lose their livelihood. But there are bad seeds in every profession that we have. Right? My faith in God reminds me that I need to advocate without being bitter. How can I advocate for my students, especially my students with special needs? That is something that is close to my heart because I have a special needs child. So when I see government programs getting cut, I'm on a waiting list to get a voucher approved so my son can go to a day program so he can learn different things while mommy is at work. But I can't afford $250 a day or $200 a day or even $100 a day. There are 30 days in a month or 31 times 100. Oh. My faith in God reminds me that I can speak the truth, my truth, because my experience is not your experience, and your experience is not my experience. I can speak my truth in love, and I don't want to be retaliated against for it, if that makes sense. My faith in God reminds me that I can believe for change even when the system feels heavy. How many of you feel heavy? You can go to work with all the intentions. In the morning times, on my ride to work, I want to play my gospel music because I want to set the atmosphere for the day. And then I get to work and something heavy happens. Or I get talked to in a way that is not respectful by children and adults. So when I think about the future of education, I think about this. We need policies and procedures. There's no doubt about that, right? But here's what we also need. We need hope. We need healing. We need relationships that don't fall apart when things get heavy. I've seen so many people, again, lived experience. I've seen people come and say, if you need somebody to talk to, I got your back, girl. Only to cut me open and watch me bleed. Then I'm walking around with this attitude or with this chip on my shoulder. And now, because I'm a woman of God, a woman of faith, now I've got to walk out what God has told me to walk out. But sometimes it's hard. Because I'm like, God, you ain't see what they just did to me? But you say that I must forgive 70 times 7? and I don't want to. Let's be honest. Courageous conversation is what we're having. Let's be honest. We don't want to forgive that person that speaks to us in a disrespectful manner and embarrasses us in front of other colleagues. I don't want to. Tell me how to get through that. That is where my faith stands. And so we need faith, whether you call it prayer, whether you call it purpose or spiritual grounding. Listen, let me tell you, it gives educators, those of us that love the Lord, or whoever your deity is, faith is what gives educators, whether you are a teacher, a paraprofessional, you're a custodian, because we are all in education. If you're an assistant principal, if you're a social worker, if you're a counselor, if you're a principal, if you're an assistant principal, listen, we all use our faith to muster up the strength to make it to another day and keep showing up day after day after day after day, even when we don't want to. I promise you. Is anybody else with me that feels like the weekend just goes like that? Like it was just Friday at 4:30. Like now I gotta go back to work. And I don't know about anybody else. I love educating. I love teaching. I do. I never thought that I would be in this position when my mother, I come from education. My mother was an educator for 45 years. And people used to tell me as a kid, you're going to be a teacher just like your... No, I'm not. My mama is broke. We don't have no money. And God brought me full circle. And the things I used to complain about with my mom, being, not being at home, always being at school, always doing for her students, and being upset about it. I get it now. I get it. Sometimes as family members, children, spouses, partners, we don't understand and we don't give our family members grace and understand that we are in acts of service. We are in an act of service, and that's what Jesus did. He was in service to the people, even to the people that killed him. He was always in service. Even the one that he knew was going to betray him, he washed his feet. So my faith helps me. It gives me the strength to make it today. So now I want to talk about what's really hurting education. And this is not a bashing. This is my opinion. Opinions are like eyes. Everybody got them. I will say something else, but yeah, no. They're like eyes. Everybody has an opinion. So, let's name the reality. Respectfully, many educators are overwhelmed due to certain things. Unrealistic expectations. Listen. You want us to have it together every day, all day. I'm human. I'm gonna mess up some days. I try not to, but I'm gonna have those days. The lack of consistent accountability. Let's talk about accountability. As educators, we get blamed so much for so many things instead of people above us taking accountability. You know what? We had the wrong call on that. And I'm sorry. We never get to hear that. I'm sorry. I dropped the ball on you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We are overwhelmed due to teacher shortages. We are losing so many great educators. I had a colleague that went and became a Walmart greeter. She said she would rather be a Walmart greeter than teach in the classroom. We are overwhelmed because sometimes we're helping students with their own mental health issues when we as educators have mental health issues of our own. And it is real. It is real. It is an issue that is continually rising. And hopefully in the next couple of podcasts, I'll have some statistics and some data for you about the mental health issues and the percentage of teachers and students that are having mental health issues. We are overwhelmed because parents and schools are divided. So often, parents call schools yelling, screaming, fussing, cussing because they refuse to believe that their child is doing wrong. It's got to be the teachers. It's got to be the school. It's got to be the climate. It's got to be. Listen, we don't continually make your child misbehave. And those are things that have to be checked at home. When students come and they're cursing and a parent come and tell me, well, she doesn't do that at home. Then parent, I need you to fix it so they don't do it at school. Because when your child, I don't care what the behavior is, whether it's cussing, whether it's blurting out in class, whether it's disrupting the educational environment, they're impeding on somebody else's opportunity to get their education. Fix it. Because if you don't fix it, the law will. Because if a child will not respect authority in a school, it's inevitable. And we all need to be aligned. Because I'm a parent too. All of my children are done. I have a special needs child. He aged out. My middle child, graduated high school. I have an older daughter than my middle. And I'm still a parent because I'm a grandparent. So we need to become aligned. And I just want us to, and here's my last and final point. We need to be, as educators, not to be treated like a personal issue. I don't want to be treated like I'm the problem. Is it possible that the teacher is the problem? Yes. But what did you do to support them? Don't sit around and say, oh, well, we gave them all the support that we needed. Did you ask them that? And then when they come and tell you that they don't feel supported, are you accepting of that? So here's the key. It doesn't mean that schools don't care. Doesn't mean that educators don't care. Do we have some that don't? Absolutely. There are people in the buildings that they are just there for a paycheck. All right? It just simply means that many schools are operating in a survival mode. So the question becomes, how do we move forward from survival to solutions? Somebody please help me with that. So here's some things that I've kind of come up with, solutions that we can use to build together, because it takes all of us. It takes parents, it takes students, it takes teachers, it takes administrators, it takes everybody. So this portion of the podcast is where there is a call to action, because complaining does nothing. All right. And so here are some suggested solutions that could work better when everyone participates. Now, is this gospel? No. Again, lived experience. This is my opinion. Like my eyeballs. I have one. I have two. So, solutions for school systems and leadership. Protect instructional time. Less random acts during teacher hours. Protect your teacher's time. Let us have enough time to really give some instructional time. And in saying that, you cannot sit behind your desk and not engage. Giving out worksheets is not working. We've got to do more. So, there I've said it. Create consistent behavior systems and make sure we follow through. Educators, how many times have you written a referral and nothing was done? Or they changed the verbiage on your referral. Whole nother show. Let's move on. Provide real mental support for your educators. So we in a lot of school districts across the country, they'll give you, is it 3 or 5? It's either 3 or 5 visits for free for counseling. Okay. Invest in a mentorship for new teachers. Stop having to meet once a month and y'all check off a box. Why are we not allowing our mentors to have a half a day to go and observe the mentee so they can really have some conversation about what's working, what's not working, and model? Go into that classroom and model for that teacher if they are not doing what they need to be able to do to be successful in their classroom. Ask your teachers what's working, then scale it. Not just top-down initiatives. I don't want, listen at me, I don't want jean passes. Jeans are cute, okay? I don't wear jeans every day. It's not an initiative for me. And then, food. The food is trash. Let's just be. The food can be trash. I don't want to eat tacos and refried beans every time I look around. Give me some initiatives that I can really use and that are purposeful. Solutions for my parents and my guardians. I say this in love. We, as educators, that's principals, assistant principals, SROs, everybody in education, teachers, we are not the enemy. Stop criminalizing us. Because the same thing that you're running around talking about, you're not this and you're not that and you can't teach, can we tell you that you're not a good parent? Oh. Can I tell you that you're not a good parent? Because you come and cuss me out and you let your child see you cuss me out, and then they think rewind. They think that that's okay. And then they want to try to come in class and cuss out the teachers too, because that's what they've seen you do. Can we tell you that you're not a good parent? Your kid is failing 5 classes, but they got a phone. We have to look within ourselves, but your teachers are not the enemy. We are not. Your principals are not the enemy. Your administrative staff is not the enemy. How can we work together? Parents, we need you to teach respect and expectations at home. Even if, listen, the basic routines matter. Because if you're really teaching children how to keep their room clean or wash the dishes and have responsibilities, it will transfer to school. If you really are putting your foot down and you're not letting your child talk to you or speak to you any kind of way, and you're letting him know that there are consequences behind speaking to adults any kind of way, it'll transfer to school. Communicate early with your teachers. Don't wait till a situation happens and then explodes and you're snapping off at the school, at the parent-teacher conference. How do you communicate? How do you communicate? Ask what your child does in class. Ask them what they need to be successful. Make sure you're reading your emails. I get it. You're inundated with emails every single day. I get it. You still have to read them. It's not an excuse. Because if we don't read our emails, then, parents are complaining to administrators. I sent an email and they didn't respond. How many times have we sent you an email asking for a conference and you didn't respond, or you don't pick up the phone when we call because you're tired of us calling, because every day your child is getting into something? Accountability. You want us to be accountable, but can we make you accountable? Solutions for students. Students need to be a part of the solution as well. Students, they deserve from their teachers clear expectations. They deserve safe classrooms, and they deserve adults who will listen. They deserve the opportunity to learn and lead and grow. They deserve those things. But they also need to know and understand that effort matters. Respect is a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. And I don't want to hear about, the teacher needs to respect my child and my child will give them respect. That's not how that goes. The teacher is in a position of authority to teach and educate for them to be successful. Because let's be clear, teachers create all professions. Why don't we get paid to do so? We will pay somebody to dribble a ball up and down a court for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and we will pay them millions of dollars. We will buy their shoes. We will buy their clothes. We will buy tickets to go to watch them play. But we won't pay the people that taught them how to do it. We won't pay the people that taught them how to read a contract. And lastly, students need to understand that choices have consequences. I tell my students, you are free to choose to do whatever you wish. What you are not free from are the consequences of your choices, be it good or bad. And solutions for our communities. We need mentorship programs from our communities. We need career days and internships from businesses. Everybody's not going to a 4-year college or university, but you have some students that want to become a chef. They may not want to go to school. Can you give them a job? Can you give them an internship in your restaurant? How do you go into the schools and partner with your schools? Donations for supplies, after-school tutoring, mental health resources, volunteer support for school events. Schools don't just educate children, they support whole families. So why aren't you partnering with your local schools? And that's where my advocacy comes in. Let's define advocacy, shall we? Because people hear that word and they think drama or maybe even division. Because when you're advocating, you're very passionate about what you're advocating for, right? And some people feel like it's just drama. But advocacy can look like showing up to school board meetings to learn and asking respectful questions, right? You can write emails that are firm, that are clear, they're concise, and they're solution focused. Don't just complain about it. What's the solution? Partnering with administrators instead of assuming the worst. Supporting educators publicly when they're doing well, and not the same educator every time, because everybody is doing their best. Y'all give out participation trophies, or you want people to give out participation trophies, but you won't do that for your teachers. What about the teachers that show up early, way early, and stay late? That's not congratulated. Voting locally, keeping education in mind. Keep that in mind when you're voting for your governor or your congressman or your house or your senate. Are they supporting education? Are they taking away from special needs programs? Don't get me started. Like special needs people. And let's be clear, special needs runs the gamut. From children in wheelchairs all the way to gifted students. Those are special needs children, because you have to create a curriculum, or you have to create a learning space that is conducive to their individualized needs, because they are gifted. Donating class supplies. I've already talked about that. Speaking up when policy doesn't match real classroom life. Let's be clear and let's be honest. If it was not for educators, people wouldn't have jobs. And that's from the presidency down to school board members. Teachers, we create every profession. Let's be clear about that. Again, I'm going to say there are bad people in every profession. And when I say bad, I mean people that are not doing their job to the best of their ability. And maybe they are. Maybe they are doing it to the best of their ability, but it's not cutting it. Advocacy doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be consistent. It just has to be consistent. Okay? So, I'm about to have a personal moment. As I said earlier, Pastor Michael Todd from Tulsa, Oklahoma, from Transformation Church, says it best: being hot, humble, open, and transparent. I have to be honest, right? There have been so many moments when I have felt like, Lord, I am so tired. I'm tired of being misunderstood. I'm tired of doing so much more. I'm tired of being told I'm not enough, or what I'm doing is not enough. I'm tired of being told that I'm doing too much. And those are the times where I want to say, is it that I'm doing too much, or maybe you're just basic? See, in those groups, in those curriculum groups, we have those issues of insecure people that because they didn't think to do something, that they think that you're doing too much. And there's too much. Support your colleague. You may not like it. Don't use it. You may not like it. Don't use it. All right? So I'm tired. I'm tired of being misunderstood. I'm tired of watching great educators question whether or not they can stay in the profession. Are they good enough? I am one of those. Am I good enough? But I've also had those moments that remind me of why what I do matters. Those are the times when I see a former student, when a student finally believes that they can do it. Or when a parent tells me, thank you for not giving up on my baby. When a child learns a new skill that changes their confidence. That's why I'm here. Not to tear down, but to build something better. So here's my challenge to those of you who are listening to me at this very moment and watching this video, watching this podcast. Here's my challenge to those of you listening. Pick one role you identify with. Whether you're a teacher, parent, student, leader, community leader, administrator, and ask yourself, what is one thing that I can do to support education in a real way this week? Even if it's something small, even a small action. What is one thing I can do to support education in a real way this coming week? If this episode has resonated with you, share it with an educator that you love, or an administrator, a parent who wants to partner better, or a leader who's trying to make a change. Remember to like and subscribe. As we close, remember this. Educators, your work matters. Your calling is intentional. And even when the system feels heavy, God is still at work. Here at All Eyes on Ashley, we believe in faithful leadership, informed advocacy, and meaningful change. I want to thank you for listening. Until next time, keep your faith strong, your voice bold, and your impact intentional. Remember, All Eyes on Ashley, where faith leads, purpose speaks, and impact follows.